Welcome to the back bay. A lot of you guys never really get to see what goes on behind the scenes. Customers bring in vehicles, see the finished product. Well, today, gonna open up, shed some light. So we got a beautiful BMW, nice little classic here, M Roadster. We're gonna be upgrading the client's radio because she wants to have Bluetooth and all the new amenities and everything that's cool with the new Alpine radios. Especially this one has CarPlay features. But in order to do that, the first thing you really have to do is make sure you look up the make, the model, and everything. Try to get the right harness. Now, in the situation that we had here earlier, we ordered up a harness, and the harness is giving us distortion. So we're trying something else. But the basic necessities in order to get a radio installed, you got the radio harness, and you got the factory adapter harness. We have black as a ground. Yellow, in most instances, is the constant wire for memory to keep the radio stations, the clock, things like that. Memory for radio settings, tuning settings and stuff. Not too many cars will offer this cable, and this wire right here is actually for illumination. So when you turn on the factory dash, it changes the illumination on a radio. Then of course, factory amplifier or factory powered antenna. So these need to get connected first. A lot of times you have to solder it or, you know, makes a better connection. But in this case, use some high barrel connectors, as we call them. Give it a nice little crimp. Twist the wires. Make sure it's nice and clean. Insert the butt connector. Crimp. It's pretty much wash, rinse, and repeat until all the harness is done. It's important to twist these wires up before you crimp them.
Okay, got it.
Nice and tight, so that when we insert the butt connector and we crimp it, there's no stragglers. You don't see any loose cabling coming out that could cause a fire, cause something to malfunction, or any issues like that. So once we have that, we'll move on to this one. Now, since this is only one blue wire, we're only going to be required to do one thing in this car. So what you could do is snip this wire a little shorter, and you're going to want to peel back a little bit just to cover the bare cabling so you don't have to worry about any issues later on. I myself, I like all the cables to be even. So what I'll do is I'll snip it even, and then I'll start stripping away. And do the same process again. You want to make sure everything's inside that barrel connector so that it can protect it. And you got to give it a good crimp. Nice and snug. Now all the power cables, everything should be set. So what we're gonna do is do the same for all the speaker wires, minus the cable that we cut short. So every vehicle and every radio, they're already color keyed, as you can see. So you just gotta match them up. There's 4 speaker for 4 channels because there is an internal amp on the radio. Purple is usually for right rear. Green usually is for left rear. Gray is for front right. White, front left. So let's proceed with that. Again, they're uneven.
Okay, I'm rolling in again.
Okay. So what I like to do next is, let's get this harness plugged up, because BMW, since there's so many variables that come into play, you want to make sure you have the right harness. Even though we looked up the year, make, and model, a lot of times the harness itself may not match up correctly. Make sure it clicks in. See, a lot of times it gives us a little issue. Just double check everything. It's in. So before I connect the speaker wires, I want to test everything. So we'll go ahead, plug the power in since we have that done already. Grab the key. Let's close this door so it doesn't beep. And just have this ready. Find the corresponding speaker wires, and again, let's keep it clean. Twist them up nice, and then match the stripe up with the stripe. Test the audio. Okay, that one sounds good. Let's go ahead and give that a nice crimp. And then move on to the next. And for you out there that's wondering how come I just didn't connect everything at first, again, this is a certain scenario situation. I like to hear the speakers, see if the speaker itself, individual speakers, if it's acting up, if it's blown, it might be out of phase by factory. So I like going one by one just to test it. And I also like doing it this way because once I know everything's connected correctly, I don't have to chop up the harness, I don't have to redo anything. It's efficient. And that's the rear right.
Bankroll bonus, which is coming up in less than 45 minutes.
Sounds good. So now what we can do is do that final crimp, turn off everything, and then clean up the harness. Since this radio does have a Bluetooth system, what we went ahead was I removed this whole paneling and then the A-pillar, ran the microphone. Since it is a convertible, I put it in an area, even though it has wind cancellation or noise cancellation, if you want to call it. This also allows it to have clear projected voice through conversations. So I ran it down, made sure everything was clean, everything's tied up like OEM. Right here you can opt to do zip ties, you can do tape, you can do Tessa tape, the fabric tape. It's really your choice, but I just like to have everything nice and tidy and clean, so then we don't have to worry about any bad things that's going to occur behind the radio while the customer's driving or anything like that. Once that's done, so everything's ready to go. Oh yeah, also we get a little creative here. I found a stock location. Instead of just running the USB cable into the glove box or anywhere, I found a nice little unused panel, and then we did a USB flush mount. So now the customer can actually plug their phone cable in there for the use of the CarPlay or Pandora, and it looks factory. And then if they don't like it, or if they want to take it out later on to put in another vehicle, so make sure everything's tied up, microphone's plugged in, antenna's plugged in, plug back the power, tuck everything carefully. Slide it in. Make sure you get the trim ring, because they are pretty fun to put on. And that's it. Give it a final test. But what I like about this Alpine HD149BT. It actually has some really cool crossovers, features. It's a very high-end singled in. So press and hold the setup button, get you into the different parameters and stuff like that. Here's the EQ, and now I can actually go adjust the frequencies, levels of what I want to, you know, make it sound like. It's a 9-band built-in EQ. So you have so many different options to go with this. But at the end of the day, it's what sounds good to your ears. And that's it. If you have any questions, let us know. Give us a call here at AE South Bay. Make sure you catch us a follow and a like on Facebook or IG, AE South Bay.